Assalamu alaikum everyone. So some new findings and some new discoveries on BONK that I want to show you today. So I've been looking at from the beginning. BONK has this what do you call this habit of having a channel and a very long downtrend. So if you go back to January last year, you had a move down, moved up, came down, moved up, came down, and you continued to go up, and then you started pumping. And then when you went down, it's just a very, very slow burn to the downside, isn't it? And then when you pump back up, then you have another very long range of a downtrend, and you can see how long it takes for BONK to really go for the downtrend. So I don't think this is a sharp drop. I don't think that it has the behavior of making dumps all of a sudden, but I think it's a very slow burn, I may call, right? And one thing that I noticed is, I don't know, but in my opinion, when you zoom in here, I think we have an ascending broadening wedge on the 4-hour time frame here, right? So if you look at it this way, I kind of see BONK creating this one pattern. Look at that. And this, to me, looks valid. Why? Reason being is you got that resistance and then you went down, right? You had another resistance here and then you went down, so 2 touches, and then you had another resistance there and then you went to the downside, so 3 touch. This is actually a trend line and a valid trend line, because it's going to take 3 touches to make a trend line, right? Maybe if it was just 2 touches here, it wouldn't have mattered anymore. Now on the downside of it, you may actually draw this something like that and something like this as well. Look at that, right? And as far as I'm concerned, this one is on a technical target, right? It's on a technical target to basically come down here at 15,000. Mind-blowing, isn't it? It's a pattern, right? This is touch number 1, touch number 2, touch number 3, touch number 4, a break to the downside. As a matter of fact, the funny thing is that the retest even happened, and I got to find this one later on. So basically that retest right over here actually looks like it did actually happen. If we try to figure out how this trend line really looks, if we just draw this trend line just a little bit like that, okay, yeah, it does look like the retest really happened right there, because the touches are very clear to me. Look at that one touch that happened with this wick over there, and then it broke to the downside, went up, and then even got rejected, right? And so nothing happened random here. All of this was just a very master planning. So for reference, you see, I don't want to say anything that comes from myself. Let's do another Google. I've actually told you the weekly 3 black crows as well in yesterday's or 2 days ago, and I want to show you ascending, right? Ascending broadening wedge right there, so that you may understand. So this is how ascending broadening wedges look like. So you have the upper trend line and the lower trend line, and the prices go up, they start narrow, and then they broaden up, right? So they keep on broadening, and then they break down, they go for the retest, they go down. Isn't this the very same thing? You start just narrow and then you keep going wide, break down, right? So you broke to the downside and you've already retested that little bit of resistance right there. So it does look to me like a perfect one. So even in the future, you may actually still have opportunity. Let's say if you do even pump, you could actually see this thing coming back up to 270,000, and then from there actually drop down. That also makes a lot of sense. So let's talk about moving up. When do we really move up? Okay, because I don't really think, number one, there should be a stop loss at 170,000 or 180,000, as I told you before. Now on the same side of things, I do notice that you have this left shoulder head here, and you're trying to print in this right shoulder to move back up. Okay, now this is a bullish pattern. You have a big bearish pattern, and now you're forming in a bullish pattern. But for this one to really play out, we need to see the price is climbing up. So let's say you come above here, you also take in 180,000, there's a stop, you break above it. So basically you're going to be breaking above the neckline, and then the next technical target for BONK, if you do that, then you may say it's going to move up, and it's going to go all the way up to even 290,000, and that's where the trend line also lies. So come up here and probably get rejected up there. be very, very careful in this situation. And that's it for the video on BONK. I'm going to see you in the next one. Allah Hafiz.